Welcome back to Living in Tallahassee. Today, let's talk about solar panels. If you're a homeowner and you're thinking about installing solar panels, or if you're a home buyer considering a house that does have solar panels, here's some things that we think you should consider. So number one, let's talk about the value of the system. Does the system add value to the home when you're selling it? And for home buyers, that's important too. Are you willing to pay more when it comes to buying a house that has solar panels? In our experience and in the peer-reviewed journal research that I did find, the only thing that I know for sure is that the solar panels appear to make the buying process longer. And that kind of makes sense. Anytime you create an unknown for the buyer, it takes them longer to make an offer. And buyers often have lots of questions about the solar power and the solar energy and how to maintain it and what do they need to do. So since there's unanswered questions, buyers tend to not make offers as quickly. So that will impact your house and your sale when you do go to sell a home that has a solar system. In Tallahassee, the appraisers that I speak to have not given any credit for solar systems. That means, in an appraiser's professional opinion, the solar system does not add any value to a home when you're selling it. Furthermore, if you take a loan out to put the solar system on your house, that is a cloud on your title. It will need to be cleared before you can sell your home. Anytime you transfer ownership from one person to another, all clouds need to be cleared. That includes that loan. If the solar system comes with a loan, the home buyer or the new buyer will not automatically pick up that loan for two reasons. One, they may not qualify on top of the mortgage that they're already borrowing, or two, they may not want to pay for the solar system. So item number two, this is Florida. Our insurance is crazy here. So if you buy a bigger system, you may be required to carry additional insurance. For example, in Leon County, if your system is bigger than a 10 kW, you're going to need to carry insurance that indemnifies the insurance or the electric company should anything happen to any of their linemen. There's a lot of safeguards in place so that if you're using your power and you're sending it to the grid, that electric doesn't get transferred down the grid. So in case there's a lineman working down the line, they don't get electrocuted. However, in case those safeguards fail, that electric company or the utility company is going to require you to carry additional insurance to protect them and their linemen. All right, third thing I would recommend is if you are buying a house that has a solar system is to get it inspected by a specialist. So we sold a house that had a generator on it. And that generator had been installed by the owner, had been wired in by the owner, and had passed the homeowner's inspection. However, there was something about it that just didn't strike us right. So we had an electrician come out and take a look at it. And I'll tell you, the look on that guy's face was priceless. He turned white as a ghost. Apparently, when the homeowner had wired it, he had wired it in such a way that it was really dangerous to someone down the line. It would not have stopped that electric from kind of flowing down there, and it could have really hurt somebody. So the home inspector himself had missed that detail. It took an electrician looking at that to realize just how dangerous it could be. So if you're going to buy a system, and this goes with any house, make sure that you have all those questions answered. Homeowners, they have best intentions. They don't always have all the details and know all the ins and outs of how things work with the utility companies, electric and things like that. So if you decide or you choose a house that does not have a battery array, you're going to need to be hooked up to a utility company anyway. Without batteries, there's always going to be a utility bill because during the day, you're going to be producing energy, but at night when you turn on the lights, you're going to be using energy. So you're still going to need to be hooked up to the grid. And on top of that, even if you produce enough energy that offsets your night cost so that you're breaking even or maybe even earning a little bit money, you're still going to have a monthly utility charge to the utility company to keep your account there. They're going to get you. It's not much. It's usually $30 or $40, but you are going to have to maintain an account. Oh, and when you produce more energy than you're using during the day, you sell it back to utility company, they're only going to give you a fraction of what they charge you for their electric. So it's about 30% average overall throughout the state. Okay, the third thing to consider when it comes to the solar system is where it's placed and how often it's cleaned and maintained. The solar panels work best when they're kept clean, because if they're not clean, then they have to work harder to produce energy, and that reduces your return on your output over time. So if they're put on the roof, they're very difficult to keep clean. They're very difficult to maintain. Not only that, but if they're put on the roof, anything that goes through the roof is going to compromise your roof. I am not a big fan of anything going through the roof. So let's say you're a buyer, you're considering a house that has panels on it, or you're a seller and you just don't want the panels anymore. What do you do if the new buyer of your house doesn't want them? They're easy to remove. Most of the leases that you have for the solar panels allow you an easy out. You pay a fee and they'll come pick up the solar panels. If they're already purchased and you buy the house, you can sell them on the secondary market, Facebook Marketplace, wherever. All right, so number 5, if you're a buyer considering buying a home that has a solar system, there are some things that you're going to want to do to kind of protect yourself and investigate the system before you purchase it. Number 1, call your insurance agent. If it's over 10 kW, you're going to have an additional policy for the electric company. Your insurance company may ask for another one because there's extra. At the very least, they're going to want to insure the property itself, and they're going to want to know it's there. So have that conversation with your insurance company. Find out if it's going to cost you a whole lot more to have the solar power. Number 2, speak with your local utility company. Ask them about any issues that they have. Ask them about how to use it, any concerns they had. When we called and spoke to a local lineman, we actually called the office and they gave us the name of a supervisor, the lineman supervisor. And we had a long conversation about the pros and cons, and he gave us some great questions to ask. And number 3, when it comes to what else to ask, is if you're going to buy the house, make sure you get the system inspected by an expert, someone who actually knows what they're looking at. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Abbe Flynn. I am a broker associate with Ketcham Realty Group, and we thank you for joining us today. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're going to sell a house in Tallahassee, we want to hear from you. Thank you and have a great day.